Okay, we're live. So it has to be a little bit different today, you guys, because my screen, well, let's see. Let's see how this works. Yeah, see, my screen's a little funky. Maybe that's okay. Maybe we'll do it like this. My screen's a little weird, you guys. So I could turn it around. Then I can't see me. Oh, you know what? No, then I can't see comments. So we're just gonna have to kind of wing it today. Let me get this set up. Gonna have to wing it. I don't know how that is for you. It looks a little cloudy for me. Hey, Los Angeles, what's going on? I'm just trying to set up my phone here, and the deal is that I cracked my screen. I don't know what happened. I looked at it one day and it was cracked. So I don't know if it looks like hazy around the edges to you, but it looks that way to me. So I'm gonna try it. I always try to give you guys some background, but that way I can't see anything. So we're just gonna go like this. You can see my background. And I wanted to hop on today and do a quick, oh, it looks good, really? Oh, well, that's good. So let me ask you this. Tell me, if I have it like, the thing is, if I have it like this, does that look clear to you? Because I have all kinds of like hazy prisms and whatever. I like to have the background, but I can't see anything. So you know what, if you guys can see. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I can't see that way either. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Morena! ¿Qué tal, Morena? Yes, you made it. Great. Okay, so I know that this way is okay. We're just going to roll with it like this, you guys. And, you know, that's your background today. That's my little plant and stuff connection. You know what? These are sea fans, by the way. You want to see these? I got these when I was walking on the beach. Check them out. I think they're so pretty. Look at this. This is those things when you go snorkeling, they're like waving in the ocean down below. I call them sea fans. I don't know if they're really called, but that's what I call them. I thought they were really pretty, and they were washed up. Hey, Renee, how are you? They were washed up on the sand, and so I collected a few of them and brought them home. Free decor from Mother Nature. So anyway, stuck it back there. So anyway, I wanted to hop on because, so check this out. There's a couple of people in town, viewers actually, subscribers here in town. And I was showing them a house, right? Hey, Danny, how's everybody doing? Thank you guys for hopping on and saying hi. So I saw some people yesterday, and the husband, speaking of, hey, Ivania, by the way, they were like, basically like, why are you slacking? Like, they're always asking, has she put up another video yet? Has she put up another video yet? And the answer was like, no, I had not. And I addressed this in an earlier video where I was like, well, I would love to put out a video a week or even two a week because, I mean, you know, again, that grows the audience and it's good for you guys if you're looking for content. But for me, when I was doing that, I was like, you know, just working really hard to always be doing videos. I'm like, okay, that was like all I was focused on. So I kind of felt bad. I was like, well, let me do something because I do have 3 in the can, so to speak, that I need to edit. I've just been slow to edit them because editing takes a while, and you have to sometimes have to be in the mood, like to just sort of really focus. So anyway, this is for you guys, a live stream instead. I don't have to edit anything. And I wanted to get on and do this live stream in particular because I wanted to respond to some of the comments that I've seen on the last video that I posted, which is now on private. I took it down, and I'll tell you why. So the last video I had up was really me just talking about the latest stuff with COVID and the numbers and kind of what's going on here, because I'd heard some misinformation, and I was like, no, you know, like beaches are open, for example. In all of the tourist areas, the beaches are open in the DR. You can come, you can go to the beach. There are, you know, restrictions in place. There is a curfew. The curfew changes, or I shouldn't say it changes. Depending upon where you are in the country, the curfew is different. So here in my town by the beach, it's 8 o'clock every night, every day, whatever, from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. is a curfew, which they've restated. There was a curfew at first, then they took it away. Now it's back because supposedly the numbers of COVID cases have spiked. But I was away at the mountains. Oh my God, there's a chicken. There's a chicken. Look on my patio. Oh, my cats are chasing it. You guys, check this out. This chicken comes to visit us. Can you see this chicken? Chicken, you better go away. Can you see this? And I have 2 kittens and I'm about to get it. Can you see this drama unfolding here? Oh, okay, he flew away. That's so crazy. All right, station break for the chicken. This chicken, I don't know where it came from, but it like has appeared on our property. It's like a hen, like a young hen. And I've seen it walking around a couple times, and it came into our garden, and then it was like up on this level the other day, and anyway, my son happened to catch a video of it inside eating the cat food. So we have 2 kittens now. They were chasing the kittens, so sorry. Exactly, it's like there's a chicken in my house. I was like, now we're gonna have 3 chickens, and we adopted 2 kittens. Like, oh my God, it's Animal House around here. Yeah, so this is Dominican life. Sometimes you have a chicken on your patio, just okay, so I was, DR is like, you just gotta be ready for it. It's just, this is just how life is. You just gotta roll with the punches, and is it still down there? I don't know, it'll probably be back. My son was like putting food out for it, like, we need to feed the chicken now. I was like, boy, we're gonna have 3 chickens in here. Anyway, okay, so the video that I had up, I was talking about COVID, whatever, and then I ran into some Haitian workers at this place where I was, and I spoke to them. Oh, thank you. Hey, Gardy. Thanks for joining us. Did you subscribe? So I was speaking to the Haitian workers about, what's your experience and all that, because let me tell you, I have been asked so many times by you viewers, you just talk to Haitian people, and what about the other side? And just, because I've talked about colorism, I've talked about the DR-Haiti relationship. And when I did this again and brought this up, and mind you, I'm hearing from them, this is not my opinion, this is what other people are saying to me, which I'm repeating. I got several messages, I wouldn't quite call them nasty grams, but several messages where people were like, why are you bringing this up again? You're beating a dead horse. You've already covered this. Move on. Stop talking about the DR and Haiti. Somebody told me his word. Well, I say he. I don't know if it's male or female. But the person referred to me as bashing Dominicans or the DR. I was like, I'm not. How am I bashing? So evidently, it's a very sensitive topic, and I will tell you, just trying to find people to discuss 1, colorism, and 2, the relationship between DR and Haiti is very difficult. People do not want to talk about this, certainly not on camera. It's like a touchy, taboo thing, which I find very interesting. I also find it interesting that when I do bring it up, and I have people who are finally willing to discuss it, especially Haitians who are willing to discuss it, that from my perspective, I think it's Dominicans who were sort of complaining and like, why are you talking about it? That they get triggered by that. And I was like, what is it about that, about just hearing from people that evidently is offensive or problematic for some people? I don't know. I don't have a dog in that fight, so to speak. People, so people are scared of anything happening to them. I can appreciate that from the Haitian perspective, that Haitians don't want to speak on camera. I totally get that. And I try to be respectful, not like put anybody at risk, because that's not my objective. I don't want to, I'm just here to share information. I'm actually here to get information for myself too, because it's just interesting to me to notice the dynamics between people. It doesn't have to be Dominicans and Haitians. It can be anybody. Here, there's French and Italian people who live here, and they kind of like, I won't say that everybody clashes, but French people think Italians are no good, and Italians think that French are no good. And when I say no good, I mean not everybody, right? But typically, and especially I've learned in border countries that border each other, there's like a rivalry sort of between countries. So anyway, there's all that. Now I will say I do not intend to go on and on about this topic, because that's not what this channel is about. This channel is a broad look at just my experience here in this country, what it's been like for me to move here and live here, different things I'm noticing, some adventure stuff, some real, like a lot, just whatever kind of I feel like talking about, or something that comes up I think it might be interesting to people to help you get information. Excuse me, if that's what you're looking for, that's what I talk about. But one of those things is this relationship. And so I find it interesting that in talking about it, to try to, shed some light, people are getting very, very triggered. So I say, if you are triggered, ask yourself why. Like, what is it that, what does that bring up inside of you? And if we're talking about, and I touched on this in the video that I put up before too, anything that can make you how do I want to say it? It's like if you're having continuously negative reactions to something that, thank you very much, Danny. I feel like I'm fair and unbiased too. I'm not saying Dominicans are bad or good or Haitians are bad or good. I'm just showing it as I see it from my perspective, and I try to let you hear from other people, Dominican, Haitian, whatever, and as they want to share. So that's what that is. But what I was going to say is, in terms of being triggered, if you find that you're triggered, whether it's by this topic or something else in your life, ask yourself, what is that about, right? Because anytime we have a reaction, like a really intense kind of a reaction to something, especially if it's a negative one, there's something in us that connects with that in some way, right? So like, let's say, like, some women will be like, oh, all men are dogs, all men are bad. And I'm like, why do women say that, right? Okay, so they must have had some bad experience. Sorry, there's people sending messages. There must have been some bad experience with that in the past. Okay, that's fair. We have bad experiences, male, female, whatever. But if you continue, hey, what's up, Quad? But if you continue to just dwell on that bad guy that I dated, or that woman who was a gold digger or whatever, and then, when people bring up dating or relationships and your response is negative, negative, negative all the time, it seems to me like that's about you. That's about your not having worked through whatever those old issues were to just move on, right? I mean, who hasn't dated someone who was an ass or did something wrong? You know what I mean? Like, that's just life. That's called learning and life and whatever. So anyway, so I think it's interesting when people get triggered and I feel like people project. Here's an example. I was with some friends, I don't know, a few weeks back, doing a little outing one day, hanging out. And there were a group of us, not a small group, but a group of us, and we were kind of exploring in nature a little bit. And we had put our stuff down in one place, like everybody put their stuff down in one place. And then we went off and kind of explored, like, nearby, whatever. And then, hold on, lived in DR many years, issues arise from misinformation. Right, exactly. There is an agenda to keep the rivalry. So but let me pause on my story and respond to that comment, because that's a good comment, Elizabeth, I think. I do think there's an agenda to keep people separated, just like what's happening in the US right now with Black Lives Matter. It's like there's all this stuff to keep people apart. And I'm a Black American woman, right? But I don't walk around feeling like racism all the time, and I don't want to participate in like blaming white people, or I don't have the energy for that. And that's not to say that I don't see injustices. I don't recognize where things have happened systemically, that I don't see what's happened between the DR and Haiti. I recognize what the history is, but I don't think you can be stuck there, no more than I want to be stuck in the history of American racism, or anywhere I go, or as a woman being discriminated against because I'm female. I mean, I don't have the energy for that. And I wonder, how can other people continue to like live under those beliefs and that conditioning? That's programming, right? That is mental programming, where someone's put in your mind, these people are bad because they're from this country, or because they look that way, or because they're women, or because they're whatever. And to keep on just perpetuating that is like ridiculous, in my opinion. And I think I'm right. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like, come on, you guys. Like, that was back in 18, what? Right? So it would be, how wonderful would it be, honestly, if Dominicans and Haitians could come together? And I'm using this as an example because I'm here in this country, and because the video I talked about brought that up, and the comments were about the DR-Haiti thing. But how wonderful would it be if people, just wherever you are, can just deal with this person for face value for who they are, and not like lump everybody together and be stuck on old history or some programming that some ex-president, some dictator, some whoever it is, some crazy ass US president right now is telling us this is okay and that's not okay, right? Your parents, the church, school, enough, right? Can we be done? Can we be done? Just move on? Like, really? You want me to move on? How about you guys all move on? How about that? And so then there won't be anything else to talk about. I will tell you this, I have one more video that I did, because I told you I was going to do a part 2 of the colorism thing, and so I did that. I spoke with a Dominican woman, a light-skinned Dominican woman, and a Haitian man who's very dark-skinned. And we talked about that, and really, I almost didn't want to put it up because it felt like same old, from my perspective. I was like, we've covered this, but I'm going to put it up because Some people have definitely said they want to see it, they want to hear about it, and so I'll do that. And then I'm like, okay, you guys figure that on your own. Keeping the peace and putting emphasis on love. Exactly. It's so much more constructive. That's what's useful. If you guys, whether you're Dominican, Haitian, American, if you're a refugee from someplace, like who wants to hear about that's why this country can't get ahead because refugees, I mean, it's like all that negative energy just keeps us stuck in the position of problems and hate and resentment and feeling lack and jealousy. There is no lack. Can we get that clear? There is no lack. This universe has provided more than we could ever use, more than we could ever desire. If you don't believe me, take a deep breath, right? How much do you have to think about breathing, right? Are you telling your lungs, okay, inhale, exhale? You're telling your heart to be too like meta, too much of a macro example, but there's just evidence everywhere that there really is no lack. Any perceived lack is one conditioning that we believe that, oh my God, if I lose my job, I'm not going to have any more money. If this person leaves my life, what am I going to do? Have you ever had a boyfriend or girlfriend tell you, no one's going to love you like I can. No one's going to treat you like I do. That's creating lack. That's creating conditioning in your mind to make you believe that you're not going to be okay without them. It's the same thing. It's the same type of programming. Anytime someone tells you, whether it's your parent, your school, your government, whatever, hi, Faisal, hi, that you're not going to be okay, or that those people or that thing over there is the reason that you can't get ahead. Come on. Why would you believe that you have a limitation? Why would you believe that? You can do anything you want to do. The universe is available to all of us equally. There is no one person or group of people who are better positioned to get something out of life than any one of us is, right? If you want to live here, if you want to live wherever, if you want to be married, be single, be divorced, thank you, exactly. Focus on abundance and cut the rivalry out. I agree. How much more powerful and productive, and when I say powerful, I don't mean like exerting power over other people in a bad way, but I mean like empowering, right? How much more empowered, better word, would Hispaniola be if the DR and Haiti got together? Let me tell you something. For those of you who have not been here or who don't know much about the country or the island, this island is so incredibly resource rich. This is not a poor country. Haiti really is not a poor country. The DR is not a poor country. These countries have abundant resources. I'm talking about everywhere you turn around, there is something like, it's overflowing with life, with abundance, with minerals, with obviously all the fruits and natural beauty, flowers. And it may seem like, well, what's a flower going to do? But how much do you go? Gold, thank you. I was going to get to that one. There's gold. And who's here mining gold, by the way? Canadian companies and other companies. I know because I've looked into it. I was like, how can I buy some gold, right? But that's who's getting the gold. Haiti. So I don't know if you guys know this. I mentioned this I mentioned to somebody else. Maybe, I don't know if it was on a video. But Hillary Clinton's brother, Tony Rodham, who's now deceased, but before he died, he had the rights to gold mining in Haiti. How did that happen, right? You can Google that and check that out. Tony Rodham had the rights. Somehow he got a contract for the gold mining rights in Haiti. Haiti is not a poor country. The DR, it's the same island, right? So there's gold here, there's gold in Haiti. There's tons of resources. Let me talk about the flower thing, because that may have sounded like just a puffy, useless thing. But think about going to a florist, right? And you get all these beautiful exotic flowers. You're paying a grip. You're paying a whole bunch of money for whatever they might be. Those are the flowers that are growing here. All these beautiful, amazing things, right? Fruits. Hillary's cousin. So Elizabeth, we need to do a live stream together because you know what's up, right? So whether it's the mangoes or avocados that you're paying $3 for $5 for at the grocery store now or whatever, that stuff, literally, I could take you right now and show you a tree on my property. Well, not my property, but where I live, more than one tree. Avocados are just hanging. They're about to fall all over the ground. They're not quite ripe yet, but they're everywhere. And these are things that you're not having to pay for. There's Venezuelans and Haitians over there. Right. So here's the thing. Issues come up between individuals who are determined to, maybe not determined, but they believe that there's a difference between them. there's not a difference. I mean, obviously we all look different. You can have people in the same family who look different, right? Who speak different languages or who believe in different, deities or what have you. But we need to silence all of that noise, because all it's doing is allowing other people who know better actually to come in and take what they want from everybody, right? Not only are these countries resource rich in terms of gold and producing all kinds of food. So this past weekend I went to Constanza and Jarabacoa up in the mountains, and yes, I have a video about that. That's one of the ones I need to edit. That's where they grow a lot of the food for the country. I mean, as far as I can see, like farms, and it's really hilly, so it's up in the mountains, and it's cooler up there, so it was a nice change of pace. But like hillside farming, which is incredible because these are steep hills, right? And they have like what do you call it, like the graduated things going down, and it was amazing. They're feeding, so they're supplying food to hotels, restaurants, supermarkets. They may be exporting food, I don't know, but there's a lot here. You can put anything in the ground and it's going to grow. I mean, the soil is so fertile. So anytime someone tries to tell you that the DR or Haiti, that they're poor countries, that is not true. They are not poor. There's a lot of money here, but what's happening to it is a different story. Let me talk about the people. The people in these countries, so I went to Haiti in 2016 and spent not that long, maybe 3 days there. But I happened to see this celebration. So let me just set the stage. So I was staying at this hotel, which was beautiful, by the way, like this oasis. I was on the north side, Cap Haitian. I was staying at this hotel that was lovely, and I was out at the pool hanging out with some folks. And all of a sudden I heard this music that sounded like carnival, like drums, just all. And I was like, what is going on? But I didn't have my camera with me or my phone, whatever it was. And I knew that if I went up to my room to get it and came down, I would have missed it. And I didn't want to miss whatever this spectacle was. I thought it was some type of carnival celebration. So instead I just rushed to the front gate. So I was like, well, at least I'll be able to see it, and I'll have the memory of whatever this is. So I go to the front gate, and sure enough, I see people with drums and, trombones or whatever it is marching down the street, all in their regalia and everything. But it wasn't carnival. It was a graduation procession. It was a celebration of these people. I was told that they were graduates from nursing school. I don't know for sure, but I was told, thank you, Conrad, I appreciate that. I was told that that they were nursing school graduates. I don't know, but they were definitely graduates because they had on the cap and gowns, and they were literally being paraded. Yeah, the DR is totally rich. Don't believe the hype that it's not a rich country. It is. So they were being paraded all around the streets of Haiti to celebrate their accomplishment. So education is highly valued there. Haitians are obviously every single person in whatever country is not bright, right? Somebody got to drive the bus, somebody got to dig the ditch, but their education, I learned that right in that moment. I was like, education is valued. And I do have pictures actually, because there was another man at the gate who was also watching, and he was taking pictures. And so I got him to send them to me. And that's a whole other story too that's another story we'll get to another time, about perceptions and don't believe what you see. Let me just tell you quickly. So he was older white man, and hey Jason, and I saw him in the hotel having dinner a couple times with this young black woman. And so what did I think? I was like, ew, scum. He's here. He's one of those, who's paying money to get with this young black girl. That wasn't true. That wasn't true. He had adopted her. He was Swiss. He was in Haiti as a visiting professor, and he and his wife had adopted this girl when she was much younger, she was 3. They had brought her back to meet her adoptive family, her birth family. And it was a whole emotional experience. And I got checked in that moment. I didn't know, and I didn't tell him what I thought, but I got checked because I realized my own prejudice in seeing him and believing, that every white person you see with a black person, every white man with a black woman is taking advantage. And so just a little encapsulated version to tell you, do not believe everything that you see, right? Because perceptions can be tricky. Don't believe everything you hear about these countries. Find out for yourself. That's what I'm trying to do, is share with you what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what I'm learning from my own observations and from dealing with other people. Now, you don't have to believe what I say. You don't have to agree with me, right? That's what this is all about. We can all have different risk of being assassinated, and go together, it'd be so powerful. Exactly. If you guys got together, you'd be so powerful. So I'm going to get off of this soapbox because I don't want to feel like I'm preaching to you guys. But my message is that everything is not as it seems. Haiti and the DR, Hispaniola is a rich, rich island. There's oil here. There's all kinds of stuff. And people who continually tell you that those guys are bad and don't trust these people, or they're not okay because they're black, or they're not okay because they're white, or whatever it is, there's often an ulterior motive, a hidden agenda. And, you know, I don't have any dog in any fight. I'm not political in that way. I'm not affiliated with anybody. I'm not getting anything out of this. I'm just saying, whether it's this topic or anything else, you know, all men are dogs, all women are gold diggers, all that kind of stuff. Like, come on. Do your own research, find out for yourself, check your own baggage and find out, do I have some issues that I'm not dealing with that are holding me back from having a positive experience, you know, in my homeland, in my job, with a relationship, whatever it is. And so find out. So that's what I have to say about that. Wow, that took 25 minutes to get through that topic. But I think it's important to talk about that. Well, let me say this. I thought it was important to address the comments that came up, because there were several, and people were very adamant about enough already. And I agree, in a way. I agree that it's enough of, you know, like, enough of the bashing, enough of the separation. So let's move on, shall we? Let's move on. Life is good. You may know that we just had a tropical storm here a couple of nights ago. It's still pretty cloudy. Yeah, it's mostly cloudy right now, but it's pleasant. It was hot today. And the tropical storm, I guess it was a hurricane farther out at sea, Hurricane Isaiah, I believe it was. But it caused very minor damage here. The worst I heard about in this town was, I know one woman said, oh, her roof was leaking and there was water all inside. And some other people said, oh, their house has got a little bit flooded. My suspicion is that the roof was probably in bad shape before, you know, because that happens. Especially with the elements, things get really, you know, worn out quickly. You got to take care of your property here. And my guess is it's probably rental. I don't know. But we had no problem. I was like, my house is a fortress. This wall, this is like cement or something. This thing did not move. We were good. I was like munching popcorn and watching it go by. I had scented candles I brought home. I love candles, right? So I had scented candles I brought from home, and also I bought, you know, those tall candles like in glass. Sometimes they look religious, and mine just had like plain glass. I lit up all the candles, and so it was super lovely and romantic in the house, and we were very comfortable and watched it go down. Hey, from NYC, how you doing? How you doing? So, was it worse down there? Okay, yeah. So I don't know what it is, because normally, you know, I'm not here during the summer. Normally I'm gone, but this year, COVID, we're having like staycation, right? But when I've either heard of other hurricanes or storms that have passed through here, or I've been here for them, Las Vegas hasn't been hit that badly. The worst I've seen, at least in recent history, is some trees blown over, you know, branches off of trees. And I did see that here. Maybe a broken window, something like that, but nothing really extreme. So people have asked me about, for example, hurricanes. What about hurricane insurance? I think if you can get it, I'm sure it's expensive. But the good news is that kind of damage is easily repairable. It's not very expensive. So people are good. The town is back to normal whatever, as far as COVID. So we do have some people here. There's some viewers who have come to Las Vegas recently, and I've seen them. One of them secured a lease on a place, so she'll be back this month, August. And there's another couple who are here right now. Hi, Ivania and her husband. That's who was telling me I was slacking. They're like, has she put up another video yet? No. I was like, sorry, I'm living my life. Plus, editing takes a long time. So it's nice to have met some of you guys. Hurricane George was really bad. Yeah, the mountains, I'm sure, protect the DR. The DR is a really interesting country because, you know, you get everything here. You get the beaches, of course. The mountains, like I was talking about, being way up high, which are beautiful. Like, there's pine trees. So I'm from Northern California, and it reminded me very much of the topography in Northern California. It was really hilly, houses like on the edge of the mountains, different style, but same thing. And the types of trees and foliage that you see there. So I really enjoyed it. It was nice to get away. We drove through a bunch of little towns between here and there. It was like a 3.5-hour drive from here to get up to the mountains. And it was really nice. And so on the way back, so we were there for 3 nights, rented like a little cabin. We were going to stay in a sort of a hotel-y place, but that was closed because of COVID. But the owner happened to have like a private sort of a cabin house, you know, it was modern kind of thing ish, modern rustic anyway, that we stayed in. And just kind of poked around. I tried to go to one of the waterfalls up there and it was closed. I was like, how do you close a waterfall? But anyway, no public allowed because of COVID. Some other stuff was closed. So we just kind of kicked it and ended up doing a day trip, drive over to Constanza, saw all the farms. I probably bought like 6 packs of strawberries and we were gobbling strawberries the whole time because that's where they grow them and it was wonderful. But on the way back, so I followed the GPS, right? Lady with the blue line going, turn here, turn there, whatever. Easy, no problem. But on the way back, we were taken through a different route. And we ended up going through this little bitty town. It wasn't even a town. It's like side of the road. I don't even know what you call that. Just a little, is it a pueblo? I don't know. Anyway, very, very small town, like very humble living, very poor people. And so so between Las Arenas and Santo Domingo is a big highway, 2-lane highway that I think is maybe only 5 or so years old. And it's a quick route to get to Santo Domingo. Whereas, stop. Here's one of my little naughty cats. This is one kitten. This is the boy. And he's knocking the tripod. And then there's a little girl down there too. Anyway, so between LT, Las Arenas, and Santo Domingo, it's like on this route now, it's about maybe 2 hours. Quick and easy, smooth riding, whatever. And on either side, you see rice paddies for most of the way. So all this beautiful green and like, you know, those big like sort of rectangle shapes where they do all this planting of rice. And that's what I'm saying, the country is so abundant, right? Well, when you're on that like highway, that's really all you can see. And there's little exits here and there, like a gas station or maybe a colmado, but not much. So on the way back from the mountains the other day, I didn't realize it at the time, but we were driving through these little bitty towns. And these are the people on the other side of those rice paddies who were tending those fields. We rode through where like the farmers live, and they were super, super humble. And I mean, I'm driving through my car, right? And I felt like completely sticking out because I didn't see another car. I did not see another car during that drive. People have like motorbikes and like horses and stuff, but I did not see, I mean, maybe I saw like a pickup truck kind of thing, maybe, I don't even remember, but it was really interesting. And at one point my son was on his tablet, whatever, in the backseat. I was like, turn that off and look out the window, right? Not like gawk at people, but just like notice where we are and recognize these people, because even though they were very humble, they had a dignity about them, right? I mean, they weren't like they're just people living their lives. And I have a lot of respect for farmers. So I posted on my community tab. If you go to the YouTube on my channel, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's different tabs at the top. And so it's like home and videos, whatever. And then there's one that says community. And every now and then I put like a picture up there, the little something. And so I posted a picture when I was in Constanza of these Haitian workers in the back of a pickup truck going over the hills to do the work. And that's who's doing the farming. I mean, there's Dominican workers too, of course, but like the Dominicans, I think, are like the sort of like the overseers. I don't like that term, but you know what I mean, like the bosses, and maybe the owners of the farms. But the Haitians are actually out there bending over, picking and planting and all that, and that's hard work. So the people I saw in Constanza doing that were Haitian, but the people on the way home in these little rice paddy areas, I mean, they're Haitians too, but they're definitely just a whole bunch of Dominican people. And let me tell you something, every single meal you eat, all of us, we have to be saying thank you, because farmers, whether you're in this country or wherever else, they are working so hard and making no money, right? And you think about how much food is produced and how much food costs wherever, if you're in New York or LA or wherever, you go to Whole Foods or, you know, wherever, or even if you're just here. I mean, obviously food's a lot cheaper here, but these people are living very, very humble lives and doing work that is essential. Talk about essential workers. We have to eat. So I have tremendous respect. That's why I was telling my son, like, look out the window and like recognize these people who are providing food for us. Like, how much rice is eaten in the world? So much. And so it was really a beautiful experience just even riding back. The town is called El Pozo, P-O-Z, El Pozo. And it was just like a tiny dot on the map, I'm sure. But I was really glad that we got taken off this beaten path by the GPS to drive through there. Because, you know, at a certain point I was like, this is not how we came. I don't know where we are. absolutely, if the Haitians walked out, the Dominican economy would collapse. Well, that's just like, so I'm from California, right? It's the same story in California with Mexicans and all the Central American people, Guatemalans or whatever. That's who's doing the hard labor there. If you drive down California between Northern Cal and like LA, it's what's called the Central Valley, and that's where we have all the stuff that's planted, much like in Constanza, all the lettuce and oranges and, you know, everything, artichokes, whatever. And the people who are working those fields, it's the same thing. It's the undocumented immigrants from all the Spanish-speaking countries. And people talk a lot of trash in California and in the US, especially now with Trump, right? Talk a lot of trash about immigrants. I'm like, if immigrants weren't doing this work, who would be cleaning the toilets at the hotels? Who would be serving or washing the dishes at the restaurants that you go to? Who would be providing the food that's put on your plate? So, like I said, I have a lot of respect for anybody who's working really, really hard, right? I'm talking about people who may not have had the opportunity, like you and I have had, perhaps, to go to school, to come from a family that can provide a nice home for them, who can, you know, give them opportunities and like give them options of things to do. Some people haven't had that. And so for them to get to the point where they're working, hi, whoever you are, Millie, hi Millie. Some people who, listen, there are people whose families do everything they can do. Oh, I would too. I would invest in Haiti for sure. Jeff, well, and his wife, Mackenzie, has a bunch of money too. Anyway, there are some people who just, you know, like your parents, the best they could do was work really, really hard at these horrific types of jobs that we would not want to do, like cleaning toilets, like whatever, to give their children a chance to maybe teach school or go and get the degree or whatever, start a business and make money. So I missed the last comment, sorry. So I have a lot of respect for them, whoever they are. And I don't even have to know who these people are. It doesn't matter to me what country they come from, doesn't matter to me, any of that stuff. I'm just saying that is hard ass work, and it is an education. That's what I told my son to put his iPad down, right? I was like, look out and see these people, right? Go interact. Like, no, not necessarily on the drive, but I'm saying just in general, notice who's around us, right? You guys, there's so much that we can learn about one another by just saying hello to somebody, right? You're in the grocery store in line getting something to eat, just like the person behind you is totally different. Say hello to that person, you know? I have people, so there's Trump supporters here where I live, and I'm friends with some of them. Do I support Trump? No, I mean, like I said, I'm not really political, but I don't need to like not talk to a person because they have a different political ideology than I do. I don't, obviously I don't believe in things like racism. Sorry, this is the cat messing knocking things around down there. Without going to, so my point is that we can have complete differences of opinion, but we don't have to dislike one another because of it. We don't have to denigrate one another because of a difference of opinion. Because here's why, let me tell you something. So let's say, let's just take KKK, for example, since I'm an American, right? American black person. So I could go, oh my God, Ku Klux Klan, those white people are awful, and I hate them, and they're bad, and their children can go to hell, and I can have all those kinds of opinions. But guess what? And what I see, the way I see things is right. I could call it my opinion is right because it's not fair to have racism. Kids can become more resilient than in the U.S. By living here. Yeah, there's a lot more exposure to things here for sure. So I can say that my position is right because, of course, racism is wrong and all that kind of stuff. But if you step back a little bit from that and look at who are the people who are in the KKK, right? For example, what did they grow up believing? Who was teaching them to have this type of hatred, to have this type of bias against whether it's black people or Jewish people or gay people or whatever? Why do they believe that? Well, they believe it because, you know, in their experience, this is what they believe, this is what they learn, this is what everyone around them learned. So really, they're right if you're standing in their shoes. So we're both right. Does that mean I agree with what they think is right? No, it doesn't. But do you understand what I mean when I say that we're both right? To them, they're right because everyone around them believes that way. Their community has encouraged them to have these beliefs and have these behaviors. Just like my community has encouraged me to have my beliefs and my behaviors of unity and peace and encouragement and love each other. So it's like looking at two sides of the same building. One side is painted red, one side is painted blue. And we're arguing about, is it red, is it blue, is it red, is it blue? It's like, it's both. We're both right, right? So I think maybe if you see things like that, yeah, despite the poverty, there's a ton of natural beauty here. So let me finish this point. So, hang on, I lost it. Give me a second. So the red and the blue. So we're both right. And instead of just arguing like against each other, if we're talking about trying to heal, right? Whether it's something in your family, you and your spouse, you and, your parents who don't see eye to eye because you're in different generations, other people on your job, whatever it is, someone who has a different point of view, consider why they have that point of view. Right? Is it just because they are just determined to be difficult? That's usually not what it is. It's because typically they've been conditioned to believe what they believe, or they've had experiences that have made them feel that way because they've grown up in, let's say, a system that makes them think that Haitians are bad, or gay people are bad, or black people are bad, or whatever. Just like you may have grown up and received certain conditioning. So I think if we can step back from attacking the individual and recognize that it's just points of view. And once you detach from your belief, realize that your belief is not who you are, it's just something that you're choosing to believe. And so if you detach from that, then there's no offense, really. There's no offense about someone calls me a nigger, am I going to get mad? Like, no. Do I identify with that? No, I don't. That's their belief. My belief about who I am has nothing to do with what anybody else says. So that's why, because some people go, oh, Kelly, you're just so positive all the time. And I'm like, well, it's because I'm very clear about who I am. I'm very clear about what my beliefs are, but I also recognize that I choose to believe certain things and other people choose to believe certain things, and that's all it is. So like I said, I can have lunch with someone who supports Trump and not get into an argument about it. Like, it doesn't even need to come up, but if it does, okay, that's fine. Are there some things about Trump that could be considered positive? I suppose so. I don't need to, argue all that, but sure. So I guess that's what my message was today. I didn't know it, but I just think there's a lot we can learn about ourselves by being willing to, like I said, step back from what your programming is. Begin to notice. I see Naples. Oh, Naples, Florida, right? Not Naples. Are you in Italy? Begin to notice what is programming. Like, why do you believe what you believe? Why do you believe that? Fill in the blank. And who is benefiting from you believing, especially if it's a belief against somebody else? If you believe that those people are like lesser than you, or whatever types of, religion, if you don't believe in God, or it's a sin to blank, whatever, you know what I mean? Consider, where did those beliefs come from? Why do you embrace them if you do? And who's benefiting from them? Are you benefiting? If you're benefiting, okay, great, maybe that's a great thing. But if you're not, right, or if it's like a whole country or a whole group of people that believes this and wants you to believe this stuff, why do they want you? Like, who's behind that? Who wants you to believe that somebody, Naples, Florida, okay. Who wants you to believe whatever it is? I guess my point is just question what it is that you're buying into. Why is that necessary? Is it benefiting you? Is it benefiting other people? If the goal ultimately is for us all to come together as people, as human beings on this planet, the goal is ultimately for us to come together. How is that going to happen if we keep knocking each other down over stuff that really doesn't matter? Really doesn't matter. And when I say it doesn't matter that you have a difference of opinion. It can be supposedly the most important topic in the world that people disagree on. You can disagree and still be unified, right? Think about a marriage, right? Are you going to agree with your spouse on every single thing? Of course not. But does that mean that you have to hate that person? No. You may have grown up very differently. Maybe one of you is a spender, one of you is a saver. Okay, and you have reasons for believing that. That's fine. But there's definitely a way to, hey, Dallas, Texas, we have people from all over the place. That's so nice. there's a way to come together around your differences. So I hope that sinks in. I hope that sinks in. Yeah, so this is what I do. When I talk to you guys before, like I've said, I do energy work. This kind of stuff that I do where I really begin to think about what is it that makes me believe what I believe? What is it that's beneficial for me? Where do I want to go in my life? And what I mean by that is like, what do I want to achieve? Not so much in terms of like, I earn this much money or that kind of like material achievement, but like peace. I want to feel happy. I want to feel lots of love in my life. I want to spread that. I want to be a force for positive change. So if like, it's like the ripple effect. If I do something good here, 10 years, thank you. I'll just thank you for that quad. If I do something that's good here that makes one of you have a thought about being kind or not having an argument, there's a ripple there, right? And not only does it ripple to you, it ripples to the person that you are then dealing with. And so it goes out and out and out. I was telling my son about this the other day, whether you call the ripple effect or the butterfly effect. Like a butterfly seems like such a small, gentle little creature, but when it flaps its wings, that the energy that's where it's moving the air moves other air molecules and other air molecules, and eventually they can come together and create a typhoon across the world, right? So it's the same thing. If you choose to just make one positive choice in your life today, it's really not just affecting you, it's affecting everybody around you and everybody around them and everybody around them. Yeah. And so that's why I do what I do, because my values cause me to want to do good in the world. And not like, I'm not like some do-gooder, I don't mean it in that way, but just because I care, just because that's just who I am. I just, you know what it is? No, here's why. It's a selfish reason. It's because I like the way it makes me feel. I like the feeling of being happy. I like the feeling of having love inside of myself. I like the feeling of knowing that rather than cussing somebody out who cuts me off in traffic, I can go, all right. I mean, obviously there are moments where I'm like, you dumbass, all the time, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to take it to the point where I'm like rolling to my window and like arguing. That doesn't happen. I definitely will be like, you stupid, right, in my car. But that's as far as it goes. So, so you feel your feelings, but you don't let them overtake you if they are not going to be beneficial. That's kind of it. It's really quite simple when you break it down. Would you rather be uptight and angry all the time, or like let some stuff go? How about we start letting some stuff go that really doesn't matter? Okay, so your coworker is a jerk and, you know, is whatever, ranting pro-Trump stuff all day. Does that really affect you? It's like if the Cowboys win the Super Bowl and people are like, yes, or mad. Does it really, really matter who wins the Super Bowl or whatever, right? Pick a sport, pick an event. It doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. It's what you choose to allow to affect you. All right, that's what I got. That's what I got for you today. As you can see, I'm feeling really good. I'm happy, I'm healthy. I hope you are too. I think that's it. Mwah! Love you. Thank you for joining me. I will edit the documents. Sorry, I've been working on some stuff for LA, my LA people, and I've got some TV documents to work on. I will edit the videos soon-ish, and you'll have them when you have them, and hopefully that you will enjoy them. Okay? Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Bye. Spread some love, please. Seriously, like spread some love. Give some to yourself. Spread it around. Let some stuff go. Feel good. 1 or 2 questions. I would love to take 1 or 2 questions. That's why I'm kind of like, well, I guess I'm done here. London. Oh, you're in London, Elizabeth. Awesome. Okay, wait. So whoever wrote the thing about questions, ask me some questions, because yeah, if you guys ask me stuff, I'll totally answer it. I'm waiting. Thank you so much. Oh, you're coming in September. Awesome, Danny. So for those of you guys who are still on, if you want to ask questions, please, that's what this is for. You have the floor. I'll hang out for a minute and see if they come through. Yeah, so there's some people who are here now. There's someone who just left last week, viewers I'm talking about. Someone else who was supposed to come. I think some people, of course, planned the cold shower. The DR, yes, so as of July 30th, which was yesterday, there is a if you have, I think it's called, is it like PCR, whatever the test is, yes, you can interview me on your channel one day. Let me answer the question about the COVID test. So my understanding is that as of yesterday, July 30th, if you do not come onto your flight with a test that says you're negative, you will be subjected, not subjected, but you'll have to take a COVID test when you get here. If it comes up positive, PCR, great. If it comes up positive, then you must be quarantined, I believe, for maybe 14 days. And that part I don't know, like where it is and whose expense. I'm not quite sure. I read something, I thought it said that the government's expense, which was shocking to me. But there's a period of time if you're positive. If you're negative, I think they just take your temperature, that kind of stuff, and you go on about your business. Masks are required. And when I say required, well, first of all, everybody's wearing them now outside. You know, if you're going into a place where there's no people, like you're walking in nature, nobody's going to bother you. Like on the beaches and stuff. I haven't been to the beach recently, really, but just in like passing by, some people like walking along the beach are still wearing their masks. Other people are like, come on, it's the beach, and they don't wear masks. When I go to the gym, and yes, I've been going to the gym for a while now, I do not wear a mask inside the gym. Thank you, Elizabeth. New president was elected last month. It's Luis Abinader. He comes into office sometime soon in August. I don't know the exact date. But as far as masks go, excuse me. Need to wet my whistle. You know, if we're going into public places like grocery stores and banks and wherever, thank you. August 17th, Abinader begins his new term. Masks are required. They'll take your temperature, typical things like that. You know, you go in the grocery store, they'll spray hand sanitizer on you. What do I think is a rationale from allowing beach but not river use? So I'm not aware that they're not allowing you in the river. I mean, way back, like the first round of all this COVID stuff, I read an article that some girl, a Dominican lady, had been told she couldn't be at the beach. But I'm sorry, not the beach, the river. But I don't remember the details of that. I've been to the river a couple of times during this, and with no problem. So I don't really know what that's about. My guess is that, in general, if you're with a bunch of people, and the cops happen to show up there, they may break that up, right? Because there is still this social distancing thing. They want people to keep, you know, apart. I mean, if it's your own family, I suppose that's one thing, but not like a whole bunch of folks come and they're partying. No, they're not trying to have that. And I will tell you that there's Dominicans specifically who are coming like from the capital in Santiago, and they're renting quads right now and rolling all around town, that whole stuff. And the people who live here, sea salt. Yeah, I mean, so I don't, anyway, I'm talking about. The people who live here who are not happy with the way the capitaleños are behaving, because they come, they party, and they trash the beach. River water. Yeah, I've heard that about river water, that it's dirty because of all kinds of stuff that gets put in it. But they trash the beach, and they leave their, like, Presidente beer bottles and their styrofoam food things and whatever. Now I got a lot of questions. Schools are opening at the end of this month or early September. Weekend curfew from 5 p.m. That's not in every town. In my town, the curfew is from 8 to 5. So it depends on where you are in the country. Different curfews for different times. Up in the mountains, it's 7 p.m. on the weekdays and 5 p.m. on the weekends. So, but yeah. Anyway, I have all these different questions. Hang on. So, so the trash. So people are like super pissed because they're coming here and like trashing these beaches. They are reckless, and they like leave all their shit all over the beach, and it's horrible. Like, who's supposed to clean that up? I mean, there's just no sense of responsibility. There's no regard for the environment. There's zero, or for other people who are going to come out the next day or later on and want to enjoy the beach themselves. People have been taking pictures and posting them online, and it is appalling. And so the mayor in this town, and probably, I'm assuming it happens in other beach towns too, people are just pissed off about it, and so they're now talking about putting measures in place, whether it's fines or whatever, installing cameras to see like who did it, and cracking down on that, because it's really offensive, especially after, you know, we were in quarantine for all these months. And if, like, remember, I don't know if you guys saw when I was doing this beach videos, and I was showing the water was like crystal clear and it was beautiful, and then people come back and they trash the beach again. Like, what is going on? How do people not get this? So my belief is that there's just a lack of education around one, personal responsibility, and two, taking care of the environment. And so I wrote to the mayor's office here, and I was like, look, what I recommend that there be some curriculum in schools to teach kids from a very young age about how to take care of the environment and why, you shouldn't litter, not just at the beach, but like you unwrap your candy, you don't drop the paper on the ground, you don't finish your soda and just toss it in the grass. And I see that happen all the time. Help people understand why it's not okay to do that, not just because it looks ugly, but because it poses a health risk, right? Where mosquitoes and vermin, rats or whatever, start congregating because they're looking for, food scraps or something. And then it leads to the health problems of people, especially the poor people who are relying on public health, which is not great. Human beings are environment. Yeah. Well, so the curriculum recommendation. So I just read something, might have been today or yesterday, saying that the president, the national level, has now approved that there be like a environmental curriculum being taught in schools. I was like, hallelujah, because once kids catch on to it, sorry, it's mosquito hour, the mosquitoes are coming out, I gotta get off soon. Once kids catch on to it and they start talking to their parents about it, or even if the parents don't get it, if kids are raised knowing you don't litter and you don't do this and you don't whatever, then it's going to change the whole outlook of the country. And then this country is going to be like a super diamond. It's a diamond in the rough right now because there is poverty and the trash is terrible. I mean, that I've said from the beginning, there's a waste problem in this country. But once they get a hold of those things, it's going to be off the charts. And so I'm trying to buy some land now before it goes like crazy expensive, because it is absolutely stunningly beautiful here. And I wrestle with some days like, oh my God, how annoying things can be and how frustrating it is when I see things like trash or, certain inefficiencies or things that I'm not used to from the way that I lived in the US. But then I have the flip side, which is, it is so wonderful here. British August Vogue. I saw, oh my God, the British Vogue cover was a huge thing here because of Samana. People went nuts. They were so pissed off. So for those who don't know, British Vogue published on its cover a picture of one of the Samana beaches with all this trash all over it, saying like reset or something, meaning like after the, there has been an uproar, saying that after the whole COVID thing, like I said about the beaches being clean, all of a sudden, boom, they're trashed again. And some people really pissed off, like, why would you say that about us? And what about this? And what about other beaches? What about other countries? And some people said, yeah, but it's true. And it is true. So, I mean, it's not a good look for Samana, but maybe the Brugal family, well, my guess is they're not selling at a discount if it's Brugal. Maybe that British Vogue cover in a harsh way will help the government to get its act together. Appreciate people like Expert going down and trying to educate. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, listen, I do my part. So when I taught here at an elementary school, when I first got here, one of the things I did as teachers, we had to do an extracurricular class like twice a week. And so I partnered up with a guy who's a German guy, and we chose to do the environmental class. And so we were talking to kids about, what can you do with bottle caps? And they were making little things out of bottle caps. I'm like, why shouldn't you throw whatever it is, anything away, not anything, but you know what I mean, like just not throw trash away, and like using reusable bags when you go to the grocery store. People here like to use the plastic bags from the grocery store for their trash bags at home, and they don't have to buy a trash bag or find a trash bag. But I'm reading your comments, you guys. But the reusable bags in the grocery store cut down so much on all the plastic, because then you end up seeing plastic bags just all over the place. Again, being from California, I was raised with the whole notion of recycling and not littering. I mean, so it's just ingrained in my mind. I've known since I was a kid, of course you don't litter. It's like offensive to litter. And so, the older people here may continue with their ways because that's just what they know. But if you start in schools, the kids are going to start changing things. So you look at, a generation from now, this country's probably going to look a lot different. And just like in the US, where you have people now who are not willing to participate in the racist systems that have been existing for so long, then, in the US in a generation, you're going to see a different type of interaction between people and the way that businesses are run and policies are formed. So it's got to start somewhere. Recycling is a great idea. I've said from the beginning, and even when I was in other countries like Aruba and every place else where there's no recycling, if anybody's willing to come here and get in on that as a business, if you can get the government to cooperate with you, which may be the biggest hassle or hurdle, there is literally a fortune to be made because there is garbage everywhere. The other thing I wrote to the mayor's office was if they implement a policy whereby, you pick up, how in the States you can return certain bottles, you get like a nickel back. If they could give people 5 pesos or whatever it is for picking up, beer bottles or whatever type of bottles they are, for example, there would be no bottles on the street. Trust me, people are getting 5 pesos for every bottle they collected. That problem would be solved overnight because, why wouldn't they collect the money? Especially people who are really struggling now to get money. So there are always solutions. So just like I was talking about solutions or perspectives on like race relations or whatever, there's just solutions. And if people are willing to look at the solutions and stop complaining about the problems, it'd be so much easier to get this all done, meaning resolve these different issues. I agree with you. Somebody said the British Vogue cover was a wake-up call. Yeah, it's like, get your act together. This country is freaking gorgeous. And, a couple of suggestions, maybe a segment, Waking Up with Kelly. Oh, that'd be nice, waking up at the beach. Yeah, sunrise is beautiful, and I live in a place where I can see, I see not as much the sunrise, but mostly the sunset, like what's happening now. It is, honestly, it's like a show every night. You get something different. It's pink and orange and purple and blue and just amazing grays and whites. And people have been taking photographs of the sunrises and sunsets lately because they're just so spectacular. I spend a lot of time out here in my patio, except when it's happy hour for mosquitoes now. The kids would collect all the plastic. That's my point. Yeah, exactly. If they got a little bit of money for whatever they collected and they take it to like recycle centers, really the problem would be virtually solved. And then to stop using styrofoam containers. Like when you get takeout from restaurants, it's styrofoam now. And I know that like compostable things are supposedly more expensive, but there's a solution there too. Like somebody needs, all like the coconut husks and whatever kind of tree bark and somebody can create a reusable, biodegradable food container, like to take food out of restaurants or to store food in, so that when if you did just throw it on the ground, not that you would want to, but if you did, it would decompose and go right back to nature. So we need some scientists here. We need some people with some creative thoughts. We need some business people to put their minds to this and figure out how to solve this stuff. I don't know what the different products are that can be used, but I know that, there's coconut husks everywhere. There's palm leaves everywhere. Some of this stuff can be processed in such a way that it could be incredibly useful, not just for this country, but then you could export it, to other countries. And again, if you want to make some money, you make money by doing good. That's why I like the idea of, like I said, doing good stuff. So there you guys, those are my thoughts for today. Conclusions, styrofoam is horrible. Styrofoam is like the worst thing. Not only does it kill Haiti, if you go like a few miles out to sea, if you guys have seen those pictures of like floating masses of garbage in the sea where it's just all this crap because styrofoam floats. And then certain fish, like if the little pieces break off, certain fish are eating it, or turtles, and then they're dying and washing up on the beaches, and you cut them open and you see all this crap inside, or like those plastic rings that connect cans, like a 6-pack, that people toss those over and they get caught around birds' necks, and just all kinds of horrible stuff. So all those things need to be eliminated, and it's so easy to do when you. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you joined late too. But when you begin to think about what can we use, look, nature, God has given us all of these resources. I need a light out here. Hold on, 1 second. I'll be right back. Kittens. How's that? I must love you guys because I'm being willing to be attacked by mosquitoes now. What I was saying is that we've been given all of these natural resources that surely there is a way that can provide for us. Like we don't need styrofoam, we don't need plastic, we don't need these things to be able to enjoy our beverages and our food outside of a restaurant or in whatever way, right? Maybe we don't even need like plastic diapers or whatever they're made of to take care of our babies. If we just use the materials that are around us naturally, we could thrive here on this planet, right? The planet has shown us that it's completely fine without us. Somebody said earlier, human beings are the virus. It's true. We have to learn how to work in concert with nature. And all of the indigenous populations from around the world since time began have learned or knew how to, like, first of all, they worshiped like the earth and the trees and the wind and all this kind of stuff, and they worked with it. They knew how to incorporate it into their daily lives. They knew like when to plant and where to plant and how to do this and like what substance was going to be good for them. Just, you know, all that stuff. What medicines, like natural medicines, were good. Which one's gonna get out of my water? Which ones were gonna, you know, kill your ox? You know what I'm saying? So if we just slow down and began to recognize and appreciate the things that were really simple, it's like less is more. We wouldn't need all of the stuff that's hurting us. So you may be seeing these things right here. These are a bunch of almonds. I put a picture again on my community tab a while ago about almonds. So these things are all over the place. They're almond trees everywhere, and they're not super hard, but they're hard now-ish. And I can peel them open, and the nuts are inside. Maybe like the almond husks or whatever this thing is called could be useful for something. I don't know, but there's so many of them. You figure maybe we should use, because they're really fibrous, right? So you break down the fibers and you turn it into something else, make like a blanket out of it. I don't know. There's a way, people. There's a way. Well, I've turned on the light, but now I'm out of breath, and I think I've answered most of the questions. Somebody asked about when school starts. School starts, those that are opening are starting at the end of the month, or sponges, right? Or sea fans. I showed my sea fan earlier. Schools are opening. Those that are opening, I believe, are opening as scheduled, late August, early September. Some schools, I think, at least I know of one for sure that's doing like a hybrid. You can do remote, you can do in person. They're doing separating of desks and stuff. You know, we'll see how that goes. I don't have terrible concern about that because, one, we spend a lot of time outside. You know, I'm giving my son, myself, I keep talking about, it is turmeric. Here it's called curcuma. The little root that you peel, it's really bright orange inside. Chop that up as an antiviral. There's lots of antivirals. I did a video. Thank you. I did a video on some antiviral things a while back. So anyway, another sip of water because I've talked my head off tonight. I think that's that. Love you guys. Thanks for your support. I'll be back when I'm back. My internet has been crazy because of the tropical storm, but I'll try to do some editing here soon and show up with another video. All right? Mwah. Much love. Thank you guys. Bye.